Yeah. Not being silly and being very serious. Seriously driving. It's just very dangerous when I drive, that's all. I would probably need to retake all my driving lessons. Like in a city with cars in it. In order to be able to drive. The driving lessons that I took when I learned how to drive were in like a place with very few cars. So I learned to drive without much traffic. So I can drive if there's no traffic, you guys. Yeah, I'm sure you are a safe driver because you take it seriously. Well, yeah, I'm the kind of person where you can't play any music in the car because I have to focus. I can't have sensory overload. That's why I drive in silence. I have to focus. Yeah. Zero good drivers in Kawaii. I guess so. I think she and Reina are probably okay. For me, I must have music playing. That distracts me, so I have to drive in silence. Most accidents are from people screwing around. 確かに. Hi. I prefer music when driving by myself. Well, if I don't have to focus so much, then yeah. But if I'm driving in the dark, if the weather is bad, it has to be silent. Yeah. I turn off music when I enter Now Street, right? It helps you focus because it's the sensory overload, like being able to focus on one thing. Yeah. 2 seatbelts. I just learned driving on a parking lot, and the third day my bro made me drive on the freeway. On the first day of my driving lesson, I've never been behind the wheel before. I sat in the car of my driving lesson, and the teacher was like, "Okay, drive." Like no instructions or anything. They're just like, "Okay, drive," and I was like, "How?" I didn't even know if you had to like put. I didn't even know that you had to put the car in drive, and then like which one was the brake, which one was accelerate, like how to indicate. I don't even know any of the buttons or anything. What was everything? The teacher was like, "Okay, drive." Yeah, and then I drove. And then I was like, "Okay." And then it was like, "Oh." No, it was real. Yeah. That was how my first lesson went. But then I was kind of able to do it once I knew the basics, like how to put the car in drive and in park, and then which one was accelerate, which one was brake. Once I know all of that stuff, and then how to indicate, that's it. I was driving. Yeah. Yeah, it was automatic. Yeah, this was America. Yeah. So I drove, but because I did live in a place where there wasn't much traffic, so it was really easy to drive, and I actually like I've never had to realistically back into a space in my life, but then they tested it for the exam anyway, and so but they put the cones like so wide apart in the parking exam. Like anybody would have been able to back into that space, but in reality, in places like in Asia where you actually have to back into the space, otherwise you can't get out, those spaces are really narrow, and it would be really hard to do it. Not like in my exam, so I'm definitely not able to back into the space. But nowadays, most cars have those like back cameras where when you're backing into a space, it tells you where your car would go. So that actually makes things like a lot easier. But obviously when I did my exam, the exam car doesn't have that. So you have to just do it from your eyes and the mirrors. Yeah. I came to Japan and my license expired. And I never renewed it ever. Can you still ride a bicycle? Of course I can ride a bicycle. You never forget that. Do you remember when you were if you can ride a bicycle, do you remember when you were taught? Cause I remember being yelled at by my dad. But like, you know, because my dad just has a really loud voice, and when he talks, he just yells. But that's talking for him. And then like, but he was like, you know, carrying the back of my bike and like running behind me. And then like, eventually he let go, and I was riding the bike on my own, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, that happened for me. It was like a moment where the music played. It was like, oh, in the background, and I was riding the bike by myself. Like he took off the training wheels and we're going. He's like running behind me, and I get scared and I fall, right? I fell a lot of times. It's a core memory, exactly. I fell so many times. And I just remember, I thought he was still running behind me, and he wasn't running behind me anymore, and I was riding the bike, and the music started playing, like in Getting Over It, the oh music started playing. And I could ride a bike. Yeah. Oh, you know, the meta nowadays, apparently, like, you know how training wheels was all the rage for teaching kids how to ride bikes? Like, at least when I was younger, I would have training wheels, right? So I had training wheels on my bike, and they would, like, put them on a little bit, like, lopsided, so that, like, your bike kind of goes side to side a little bit, right? But nowadays, apparently, and the reason why you see a lot of kids on these bikes that don't have pedals is because, like, apparently, like, pedaling with your feet and then balancing is a better way to teach kids how to balance on a bike. That's why modern, like, kids' bikes don't have pedals. They just, like, you just use your legs, and they don't have the training wheels either. And then you would just, like, pedal with your legs, and then, like, put your feet up, and then the bike goes, right? And then you kind of just naturally learn to balance like that. Which actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah, so instead of having training wheels and relying on them, you just straight up have a bike that doesn't have pedals and also no training wheels, right? And then you pedal with your feet, and then when you lift your feet, you're actually balancing on the bike on two wheels, right? Yeah. You never had training wheels? You just had to learn? Okay, I had training wheels. I had a regular bike with the two things on the side, and then I had training wheels. Like, it was a progression of learning how to ride a bike. So I did it the classical way. Try to dab. Hold on, I gotta do one hand at a time. I did it.